Please follow the link below to donate to the Onyx Tavern for as low as $1 a month, and remember to submit your fan art to onyxtavern@gmail.com. Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 215 here at the Tavern, where tonight we're going to discuss my thoughts and ideas of what Hasbro should be doing with the Power Rangers merchandising arm. So, okay, last week or so, we've had a couple of big announcements come down the pipe. First off, congratulations, everyone. We are now in the Hasbro era of Power Rangers. It's official. Saban Brands is no more. Closed down. They fired employees, and now Hasbro has taken over the franchise as a whole. Even to the point where they had the trailer for Gemma in the Legacy Wars game. It actually has the Hasbro logo on it now. Something just really minor, something that just came out a couple days ago, is already being branded with Hasbro. So we are officially there. Saban Brands is no more. Bandai is no more as far as taking control of Power Ranger toys over here in America. So, new horizons. Now, of course, coupled with that is last Friday was the official closing date of the one place where nobody wants to grow up, other than Neverland, was Toys R Us. Toys R Us has officially closed, and the place that I guarantee the majority of you out there bought your first Power Ranger toy at, or went to the most to buy Power Ranger toys, is now gone. So this is a world that I could not have imagined, just a few years ago. No more Bandai of America, no more Saban Brands, no more Toys R Us. It is brave new world with such people in it. Here we are, and it's going to be very interesting within the next few months, particularly with Power Morphicon and San Diego Con, where I know there's going to be some news dropped at some point. As far as what Hasbro is going to be doing with the show, merchandising, and so forth, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens at this point. And of course, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about what is I would like to go ahead and see, where if somebody from Hasbro in a focus group, whatever, sat down with me and say, okay, Rick, you've been a Power Ranger fan your whole life. What is it that you want to go ahead and see from the merchandising? And honestly, I do have a few ideas, based primarily on a lot of negative things that Bandai had done since really the Operation Overdrive season, and of course, really just trends in general with toys and collectibles and things like that. Because, I mean, folks, this is 2018, where the internet exists and people use it for stuff. Yet, it is extremely difficult to get a hold of things, to actually buy things that are quote unquote collectibles, exclusives, or yada yada, whatever. Just as a brief aside right here, and I'll have a little steam about this, the NES Classic. I don't understand why in this era it should be so difficult to get a hold of that damn thing. Where the average person cannot pre-order it, but a damn scalper can get 15 of them and then go out and sell them for $500 a pop to desperate people, to be quite honest. That to me, and just real quick, scalping like that is criminal. Yes, in the past, I have actually, had Power Ranger toys I've tried to charge a little bit more for. Like, I have a $60 Megazord or something, and I want to sell it for $100, which honestly I think is quite reasonable. I don't fault people for doing stuff like that. But if you're going to try to sell something that was $70 for you to buy for $500, $200, $900, yes, I've seen that on Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, wherever, that is criminal, and something should happen to you. I don't know what, but something. But yeah, that's the world we live in, is where Apparently, companies can make a product is so scarce that you can't buy it and drives up the price for scalpers, which, you know, okay, I don't know anything about economics, I'll tell you that, guys, right now, I'll be honest with that. But how does a scalper selling a NES Classic for $500 actually benefit Nintendo in any way? All they got was the $70 for the unit. The 500, the rest of that money, that's going to the damn scalper. So thank you Nintendo for helping the scalpers and all that. And yes, we've seen this with Power Rangers too. I've seen scalpers do crazy things. Heck, I pre-ordered the Psycho Silver Ranger. I think it was from Big Bad Toy Store, or Entertainment Earth, that's doing the pre-orders for that, and I got it for honestly double what it really should be. But we'll get to stuff like that here in a minute. But there are already people on eBay who are like doing pre-orders, which I didn't realize you do pre-orders on eBay for stuff like this, or other sites where they're like selling the gold Zeo Ranger Legacy Morpher for $400, and like the Legacy the Silver Ranger or the Green Ranger, Green Psycho Ranger, for like 150, 200, $300, something outrageous. And again, to me, that's criminal. That is wrong. I don't understand why we are letting that kind of stuff get through the cracks. And same thing with Amazon. Amazon's guilty of this. Again, I will see an NES Classic on their main page, and if Amazon's not selling it, I see guys selling it for 500. I don't know. I mean, there should be a rule in general that you cannot sell it over a certain percentage of what it's worth at a particular time. Like if that thing was released in March and you're trying to sell it in July for $500, no, there is no way. I mean, if that thing is 20, 30 years old, okay, maybe, but no, no. Okay, getting off track, but you guys see where I'm going with this, right? Where I think one of the things that Hasbro needs to look at is ease of accessibility, to make it easy for the consumer to buy it on an online platform. Because let's be honest, besides Walmart, where exactly are you going to buy Power Ranger toys nowadays? Yeah, and I know there's places like Barnes and Noble and Hot Topic and FYE that sell this nerd stuff, but I got news for you guys. They don't sell Power Ranger stuff. I mean, there's an FYE at the mall near me, and I never see Power Ranger things at all. I maybe see a T-shirt, I maybe see one of the standard figures, but like there's an entire section, or a section and a half dedicated to like Harry Potter crap, and two full sections dedicated to Star Wars. And yet, all I can ever find is a little Power Ranger thing. And of course, that's going to be the issue the Power Rangers deals with in physical stores, is that there is not going to be a lot of attention paid onto them. You're not going to get these giant display cases for just Power Ranger stuff, no matter what store you go into. Heck, the Walmart that is closest to me has 3 Power Ranger figures. That is it. They have like 3 figures, and I think maybe the Lion Morpher. That is it. And they have had that for months now. They haven't restocked any new Power Ranger stuff, and I know because I'm in there buying milk all the damn time for my daughter. They don't have anything, and of course that means, oh, if I'm trying to find something now, if I'm trying to find that Legacy figure, heck, when I was looking for the Gold Ranger Legacy figure, I went to, and I kid you not, 13 different Walgreens to find the Gold Ranger Legacy figure. 13! I counted. I can't believe there's so many Walgreens within driving distance of me, but still, I went to all these different places just to go ahead and find it when I should just be able to order it online. And I think that's a direction Hasbro needs to take, is that they need to be able to make everything available online and make it easy to order it online. And whether that's going through a specific company like Amazon, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, whatever, they just need to make it easy for everybody to go ahead and buy it. And for any particular item. This goes into my next point right here. One of the things I'd like to see them actually stop doing, and I mean, not that they've actually done this, I don't know what Hasbro's role is and stuff but stop exclusive items. Okay, we just got word, I think it was today or yesterday, the Lord Dracon legacy figure for Power Morphicon that you can go ahead and buy it, pre-order, show up to the convention, go ahead and get it, whatever, and stuff like that. And if you guys remember my Bandai of America rant from way back in episode 10, which unfortunately is no longer online, I hate exclusive items like that. And here's why. And again, it goes to the point where, again, it is 2018, we have the internet, and I'm going to be honest here. Not everybody can do every damn thing under the sun. I hate the notion of exclusivity, and I hope I pronounced that right, and I hope that's a real word. The idea that if you pay X amount of money and you're able to go do things that other people can't do, that you should be able to go ahead and get this one particular item. Why should I have to leave Florida, go all the way up to California, attend a convention, which, guys, I don't attend conventions for numerous reasons, and one of them is social anxiety. To be honest, I just can't be around people like that. Truth, that's the truth right there. But have to fly out there, spend all that money to just get a damn action figure when I can easily click on it on Amazon and order it for the standard retail price. Why do we have to jump through all those hoops to go ahead and get it? I mean, yes, you can argue that, well, you attended the convention, so it's something special. Okay, but that's what commemorative pins and buttons and t-shirts and stuff like that are for, okay? Figures and toys and things like that, that to me should be available to everyone. And here's the thing. If they're going to make it available at Power Morphicon and then make it available later to everyone else, then I'm fine with that. But in the case of the green and white Ranger Morph they released years ago, which again, that episode 10 video I did, they did have it, and they did release it later to people, but it wasn't the 24 karat plated gold version that they had. And of course, there's the Tommy Legacy of Power Ranger keys that they never released to the general public. It's, hey, you have to buy that set here, and now it goes for like $1,000 on eBay and stuff for people who did actually go ahead and get it. And there are probably a bunch of others that I'm just not going to get into, because you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't understand why we have to do this stuff just to get a hold of a particular figure. And again, San Diego Comic-Con, the green Psycho Ranger and the gold Ranger Morpher, and then the silver Psycho Ranger. Why? Why are these exclusives? Why can't you make them available to everyone? Why do I have to do all this stuff? Because I'm not going to pay for a flight. I'm not going to pay for a hotel. I'm not going to risk having any type of panic attack being around so many damn people. And I'm just not going to go ahead and do it. And you can count that on my stubbornness or whatever and stuff like that. But I don't think you should have to do it. I don't think anybody should have to. If you want the Psycho Green Ranger, you should have it. If you have the money for it, go buy it. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have to go to Comic-Con. You shouldn't have to go to Power. You shouldn't have to go anything. And in addition to that, as you guys probably know or remember, I used to live in Montana when I was going to college. Where I was living, I was 3 hours away from the nearest Toys R Us. And if I wanted to get a Legacy figure or something, I either had to drive out 3 hours to the Toys R Us and get it, or I would have to pay double the amount on another website, because Toys R Us, for whatever reason, would not allow you to buy particular figures off of their website. Whether they were sold out in advance, they weren't offering pre-orders. Like, remember Legacy Titanus? I could not buy that sucker online if my life depended on it. You had to go out and find it in a store. And of course, it's hit or miss if your store gets it. Sure, the billing store doesn't get it, but, hey, 3 states over, they have it. You just never know. I mean, the idea is that the availability is just, it's stupid. Why is it just not available to everyone else? And again, in here, this is something I want to kind of tie in with that. What I actually do like about Bandai of Japan, first of all, Bandai of Japan, it's a lot easier to get a hold of stuff. It really, really is. Very rarely do they have an exclusive item or something that you cannot get. The only exception would be like if you went to a Toys R Us to get like Cube Panda, which is something I did. I had to go buy a Zooja toy, and I got a Cube Panda. But the thing was, they never ran out of stock, for as far as I know. There was never an issue with that. Every store was doing it, and of course, Toys R Us are so ubiquitous in Japan, at least in the urban areas, that it is very unlikely that you wouldn't be able to get your hands on it, given the factors there. But as people like to say, Japan's apples and oranges, whatever and stuff. But here's a suggestion I have. If Hasbro can't make these immediately available to everyone, again, through Amazon, Walmart, whatever and stuff, then do what Bandai of Japan does. Have a direct store, a direct from the manufacturer. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard of Premium Bandai at some point. Now, Premium Bandai is a direct market website, I guess you would call it, for exclusive Bandai of Japan products. For example, when we were getting the Legacy Thunder Megazord, they were releasing the Daireno, which I believe is how you pronounce it, which is the Die Ranger equivalent of the Thunder Megazord, through the website. Now, what's interesting about what they do is that, one, it is directly through the website. You don't have to go through a third party. It is through Bandai directly. That's who ships it to you. And what you're able to do is you're able to basically put down a pre-order on it before they even manufacture it. And the idea behind this, as I understand it, is to garner the interest in the actual product, to see how many people would actually buy it. And what's great is you actually don't have to put any money down for it, because, well, in Japan, you have the option of paying a COD, something that I don't believe people do in America anymore. So, like, what I would do for all my products is I would pre-order it before they even make it, and they would say, hey, so many thousands of people want it. They will actually make it, ship it to you, and you pay for it when it actually arrives, which was a beautiful system. They still operate that. I'm waiting for my Wand Tiger to come out later this year, and I will pay my friend in Japan to get that for me, because unfortunately you can only have it shipped to Japan. The only major flaw in the system, of course. And of course, I get it. So I'm thinking Hasbro should do something similar, to where you can pre-order directly from their website, or they can say, hey guys, we're going to make a Legacy Shogun Megazord, but we're not sure if it's going to sell well. So here's what we're going to do. You guys go ahead and pre-order. You can put money down, or what GameStop does, you can put minimum $5 or whatever and stuff. And if we have enough people who are interested that have enough pre-orders, then we will go ahead and make the product. We'll ship it out to you. And of course, if that does well, then we might make it available to the general public. Now, that's not exclusivity in any way. That is finding your core audience, making a website available, making a product available, and making an easy way for them to get a hold of that product without having to jump through hoops. Now, just imagine, I'm going to use Psycho Green as an example here, that if Hasbro said on their website, okay, we're making Psycho Green available, we want to see how many people are interested in it, put a down payment of $5 onto it, and if we hit at least 1,000 requests or 1,000 pre-orders, then we will make it available for everyone, retail. You can buy it whenever and stuff. That would be a beautiful system, and I honestly don't see the flaw in this, with the exception of the so-called brick and mortar stores. But I would imagine they would get those anyway, because there would be some sort of interest. Because you do realize someone's going to go to a GameStop, for example. They're going to go buy a couple of video games. And since GameStop has action figures, they'll say, oh, it's, Psycho Green Ranger. I'd like to buy that. It's $20. That's a pretty good deal. And maybe it's half off because, GameStop's running one of their many promotions that they use to try to keep afloat. But I think that's definitely one thing they need to do is, no longer make the items exclusive, make them available to everyone, and have a direct way to engage the Power Ranger fans that want these items, and to go off the model from Bandai Japan. I mean, again, I'm seeing very few flaws in this particular system, and I would absolutely love it. I think it would be great to buy them directly from Hasbro. Why go through the middleman? Why go through Amazon for any of these things? And just as an aside, this has nothing to do with Hasbro. This has everything to do with Boom Studios. Is there a way that you can, like, comic subscriptions nowadays, like physical copies, because the comic book stuff around here is pretty horrible. I just want to be able to like pre-order comics on a monthly subscription to where they're just mailed to me. Is there a way to do that? Somebody please tell me, because I am like 10 issues behind in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I'm still waiting for volume 1 for Go-Go before I can actually start reading it. The comics need to get into that, but it has nothing to do with Hasbro. Okay, now what about the actual products themselves? I've given you guys what I would like to see as far as obtaining those products, but what products do I want to go ahead and see? Well, as you guys know, I want to see the legacy items become the new norm. Um, Again, Bandai, around Operation Overdrive, and this has what, been over 10 years at this point, they just started getting lazy. They started getting cheap. Um, I I believe I believe that the toys should be a one for one recreation of what is on the show. And I don't understand why that is such a hard concept for toy makers, for anybody to go ahead and get. Now, why would I. And let's go back to just really quick. Let's just go back to 1993. Now, I never owned an original Megazord until I was an adult, because my mother could never find one. I don't understand how, but that's what she always told me. All she was able to find for me was about a 9-inch Megazord figure that did not transform. The Triceratops and Saber-tooth Tiger legs would come off, and you could shoot the fists out of the Mastodon, and that was its only feature. That, I mean, that's all you could do with it. You couldn't transform it. There was no Dragon Zord to connect with it or anything. I mean, I did not get my first official Megazord toy was the Ninja Megazord in season 3. Yeah, it's the first time. I mean, I had tons of other Power Ranger toys, but this was like my first official DX Deluxe Megazord. And oddly enough, my brother got the Red Dragon Thunder Zord. I never got the Tiger Zord. So go figure on that. Weird times, right? Um, but what I loved about the Ninja Megazord is it was one for one translation of the show, with minor features like the decals and stuff like that. What I want to see Hasbro do, and again, let's get into just Beast Morphers as the example here. Make it a one for one translation from the show. Don't add spring loaded missiles to the Gorilla. Don't add extra decals or stickers that don't actually belong in the program. I want to be able to say this is exactly like it is on the television screen. And I don't know what they're going to do with the molds or anything like that, but I imagine they'd be able to make exact molds from the Bandai of Japan line. Um, it's a corporate espionage or something. I mean, is it gonna be that difficult to remake it? I mean, we already have the Cheetah Zord. Now I already bought that years ago when Go Busters was on the air, so I have it. I don't feel the need to buy a new one. But heck, if they could actually make like what would be considered a legacy version of it, hey, I might spend a couple of dollars on that as well. They're a little bit behind the curve for some of us collectors, so gotta find a way to try and sell it to us, um, or sell us on the concept is what I mean. But what I'm saying is like we need one for one translations. We don't need things that, I mean, they're coming out with like a Gorilla Zord for Ninja Steel that doesn't exist. Why there's no Gorilla Zord in the show? Making all these superfluous figures, or even think about what were those Jurassic Rangers or Jurassic Rangers from RPM that never appeared in the show. I don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to see foam weapon guns or stuff like that. I want to see exactly as it is from the show translated on over. Again, why is that such a hard concept? If you want to add other things to the line, that's great, but you gotta give us the basics first. You gotta give us show accurate things before you can go ahead and move on. Um, in addition to that, I want to see the legacy lines continue. I think Hasbro has the means, and there is a desire within the Power Rangers community to have every single Power Ranger represent in a legacy line figure. I believe that's an obtainable goal. I mean, we have all of Mighty Morphin, we have all of Zeo now, we're going to finish all of In Space, and I think Ninja Steel is going to be one of the next legacy figures that they end up doing. There is no reason why we can't do that, and honestly, again, I collect Zords, but I love the concept of the legacy figures. They're just the right height. They got they're not as detailed as the SH figure arts, which I think, of course, are superior. But I mean, this is I think the legacy figures really are a good compromise. Um, I want to see more of that. I want to see, other Legacy Megazords. Like, I want to see the Legacy Shogun Megazord. I want to see a Legacy Tor come out. I want to see Legacy Astro Megazord. I want to see Legacy Rescue Megazord. I want to see re-releases. I mean, if you're not going to go ahead and remake, say, the Rescue Megazord, then what about some of us who have our Rescue Megazords or maybe lost a piece from '97? Heck, I have. From the Zeo Megazord, my brother actually broke one of the prongs that holds the helmet on for Zeozord 1. Um, I can't buy a replacement for that, so I have to buy a completely new one. And of course, where am I going to find one that's in good condition? Why not re-release the Zeo Megazord? You don't have to make a legacy version. The original version was just fine the way it was, honestly, other than the decals. And heck, that's something I would love for you to do. Make them painted, that would be even better. Put the decals on for us and stuff. So continue with the legacy Zords, continue with legacy figures, the legacy weapons. We're fine. I mean, the moment we start getting out of the Mighty Morphin era into Zeo is when they decide to go ahead and sell to Hasbro. So I want to see those things. I want to stop seeing black versions of stuff. We don't need black Titanus. We don't need black Dragons, or we don't need black Megazord. We don't need black. Can you imagine a black white Tiger Zord? I mean, just think about the absurdity of the black white Tiger Zord. Which that's what they're going to be calling it. We don't need that stuff. We don't need that. I mean, we need to focus on to make what we have better, high quality. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see, and I want to see again re-releases of particular items or even hard to get items and stuff. Like, does anybody remember getting the and you know what? I am blanking on the name for it, but remember the red Gorilla Zord from Wild Forest that never appeared in the show, but appeared in Gal Ranger, and they had a toy on it. It was like the Ultimus Megazord, is what it was. Would you guys believe that that was the only way to get the Armadillo Puck? Yeah, for those of you that have the Wild Force toys, you know what I'm talking about, but for those of you who don't, if you try to make a Kongazord Striker combination, which is the Kongazord with the Rhino and the Armadillo Zord, you cannot make that combination. You are actually missing an integral piece called the Armadillo Puck. It was only made available with the Ultimus Megazord. That's the only place you could go ahead and buy it when it originally came out. Then, as the years went on, you could only buy it from buying old Gal Ranger toys, which are insanely expensive now. Luckily, they actually did a re-release of the Rhino and the Armadillo through the Korean Power Rangers, and I was able to grab one of those to finally get the one insignificant piece I needed to finally do my Kongazord Striker. So, I mean, things like that re-release things that people don't have anymore. Or can't get access to because they're not making parts for it. And heck, remember what I talked about the extra 100 animals from Gal Ranger? Make some backwards compatible Zords, like that. I just want to see them actually thinking about what fans like to see. And I don't know what I mean. Honestly, guys, how many of you said, I really want a black and gold original Megazord? I mean, why is that something that we would want? And I know every single one of us wants a Legacy Shogun Megazord with a white Shogun Zord and not a pink Shogun Zord. Heck, I would love for him go back and do a Legacy Drive Max Megazord or a Legacy a Dino Charge Megazord. Because again, ever since Operation Overdrive, those toys have been crap to where you are essentially forced to buy the Japanese version because of how superior they are. And actually, what would be even better is if they could do a Legacy movie Megazord. And I don't mean the first movie, I'm talking about the 2017 film. Because yeah, that one, that as far as a toy is concerned, that does suck. But if you can make it, out of die-cast parts, make it part of the Legacy line, that would be something worth having. Um, just things like that, and think outside the box. Think of things that are not necessarily weapons or gear or things that we have. Like, you know what I was thinking about the other day would be a great thing to have? Like a ceramic command center. Like something like ceramic, porcelain, whatever, some little thing by Eagle Moss, I guess, that you can set on your desk that's of the command center, the exterior of the command center. Or a TerraVenture toy. That would be something that I think people would go ahead and buy. So either a full size model or, again, like a little Eagle Moss porcelain thing would be pretty cool. Start going into the high end collector's market. One of the big criticisms of the Legacy Power Sword is that the blade was plastic. That essentially was just a nice looking toy. Well, I mean, you can go about any knife shop or pawn shop and probably find a Klingon bat lift and a bunch of other bladed weapons from TV shows and movies. Um, so why can't you do that with the power sword? Make an actual sword weapon, you know? You can do that, Hasbro, and again, market it towards adults, and I guarantee people will go ahead and buy it. Release more legacy. I mean, guys, I would love a legacy power cannon and actually be able to combine it into a power blaster, a full-size replica of what it would be in the show. Oh, and let's get more helmets. I want more legacy helmets. I like the idea of the little helmets you can put on your desk. I think those are pretty cool. But full-size helmets. Because here's the thing, folks. I don't care Saban Brands, Hasbro, whoever, has gone into exclusive distribution rights with Anarchy over in Singapore or wherever he is. If I can't buy direct helmets like that, then I don't really see what the point is. And spend $300 on a helmet, I think, is a little much. I think $100 is probably just about right for a one-to-one show replica helmet. Let's make more helmets. The next, honestly, if we had to go Mighty Morphin, next one I want is the Black Ranger. I don't know why, but that would be the next one I would like to go ahead and get. Let's get and you know, maybe let's do an official cosplay thing instead of sinking our money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to doing cosplay, making it on ourselves, or having to ask Anarchy to make it for us. Why don't they release official cosplay lines where you can order jumpsuits and helmets and belts and gloves and get a whole set for half the price of what Anarchy's asking? That should be something. You can buy Starfleet uniforms, you can buy Jedi robes and stuff. So let's get Power Rangers on that train. And of course, I think the last thing I want to just go ahead and talk about is let's get some video games going. Let's get some better Power Ranger games. I don't know what Hasbro's gaming division is, if they have one, or who they outsource to. But let's get some Power Ranger games in there. Let's get a legit fighting game. And like I've said 100 times before, let's contact NetherRealm. Let's get Ed Boon on the case to develop a Power Rangers fighting game in the same vein as Injustice and Mortal Kombat. I would love to see that. That would be like the number one thing I would wish for right there. And there are hundreds of other things I could probably go ahead and suggest, but I think the main things I want you guys to take away from this is I want better availability for products for everyone, okay, and better quality toys. Again, the Legacy line should be the standard and not the exception. I will be excited to see what happens when Beast Morphers comes out and they start announcing the toys, start releasing the toys. Hopefully they're not crap. You know, within the first year, I'm going to expect some bumps and hiccups, you know, as they're getting used to this particular brand, but they got to be on their game. They have 25 years of history that they've learned from Bandai. They have fans who are willing to communicate with them to address their issues, just like I have tonight. There should be really no excuses for Hasbro. And the thing I will say about Hasbro, again, there does seem to be some sort of enthusiasm. There seems to be an understanding that the Power Ranger brand is significant and that it just hasn't been used to its fullest potential by either Saban, Disney, Saban Brands, whoever. And I hope Hasbro understands that, and I just hope that they are able to come up with quality products that will, you know, to where, heck, I will go into a store and instead of being bombarded by aisle after aisle of Star Wars things, that I will have a whole aisle dedicated to nothing but Power Rangers, basically. That's the kind of hope that I have, is that they will bring out that brand recognition as well. and the non-Power Ranger fans will start being interested in the products. But hey guys, that's all I got here that I want to go over with you tonight. So, what do you think? What are the things that you want to see from Hasbro as far as availability of the toys? What type of toys that you want? The quality of them? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys want. I'm sure there are a bunch of things you thought of that I haven't, that I would be curious to know what other people in the fandom want. Because, and I'm going to leave on this note real quick, and this will be something I'll probably talk about in another video, but I'll leave you with this, is I think one of the major issues with the Power Rangers community as a whole is our complacency and our willingness to accept things that we should not be accepting. And I think we need to rally and just say, hey, no, we're not going to accept crap, Hasbro. You need to treat us right, and we need to ask for better. That's what I'm going to go ahead and say, that we need to get out of that complacency. And I'll probably talk about this in a later video, but I think I think we're on to something here. I think I wouldn't call the Neil Saban era a renaissance for Power Rangers, because renaissance would indicate quality returning at some point. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens next. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.